Don't you think that maybe you should work with Kalonzo Musyoka and the other united opposition figures and maybe to prepare for maybe a better government?
So me joining the opposition, definitely, I will be joining other desperate people who do not have anything to do nothing. The opposition that is there, first of all, you need candidates you can believe in. Whether we like it or not. Hata opposition wamesema, they have united and saying that the president is one term. If they have said it is one term, sasa hiyo term yenye imebaki between 2 years, tutanyamaza wanafunzi walale njaa, wainame for no reason and I'm their chairperson.
There is a new vaccine that has been introduced on HIV that probably should be rolled out in 2026 January, if not wrong.
Conference in our universities. Most of them opt to do it in an unprotected manner. So in my opinion, what we are telling the government, should this be rolled out? Because young people cannot afford 6,000 shillings. What we want and what we'll advocate for onset and going forward is that we advocate the vaccines to be offered in all public institutions, private institutions for free, so that students can be able to afford. Remember, this vaccine, it's being given between, I think, around 6 months. 6 months. Now, why is it that it's being given timelines? I mean, it's specifying that it's only 6 months that the vaccine will work.
Good evening and welcome to the Power Table. Tonight, of course, I'm joined by Anthony Manyara. Anthony Manyara is a student leader, the KUSO president, and of course is also the chairman and founder of the Youth Advocacy Africa. Through him, we are going to discuss the current affairs and issues that are affecting the youth and the state of our affairs and politics generally. Well, our conversation begins right now. And of course, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Yes.
For inviting me here. This is a powerful media house. We respect it so much. That is why I've made my way here to discuss with Kenyans, to tell them what we think on various topics, and also to offer solutions on maybe the problems that might be facing our society.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, perhaps if you could just begin with the current state of affairs. Where do you place our current state of politics, affairs, and having bearing that you have a background as a student leader, which you currently hold as the KUSO president and also the IASU president? What do you make of the current state of affairs?
Well, first of all, I'll begin by thanking all our viewers for giving us this opportunity to address them. And I would like also to emphasize to you, Coach, you know, people keep on calling me the KUSO president. And sometimes I term it to be like a lifetime kind of tenure. And sometimes I try as much as possible to exit that space. But then I find everyone calling me chairman. So it has become really something which I've not coined by myself. But really, I also represent students across the East African space. Yeah. We call it East African Students Union. So you can see, really, we are in charge of very many young people in between the age of 18 to maybe 30, because we not only represent students who are undertaking undergraduate studies, we go to postgraduate, masters, and to an extent also PhD.
Yes.
So back to your question, which you have asked about the situation in the country. I believe we're in a situation which requires some kind of, requires saving, if I may say, because very many young people are desperate. That is the whole essence of them going to the streets, demonstrating, protesting. But the real question is, might we have protested and demonstrated long enough to equip the person you're demonstrating about to be to adapt to the to the norms. You know, Sun Tzu, who was a Chinese general, he once coined that sometimes you fight with your enemy far too long until you teach them all your art of war. So in my observation and taking is that young people sometimes you need to fight in very many fronts. First of all, you go to the streets. Then also you approach in other various platforms. You may go through the policy way. You may also go through online kind of campaigns.
Yes.
Doing demonstrations all the time might achieve,
Mm-hmm.
to some extent. Some people will sit back there and negotiate on behalf of these young people who have been fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they are not addressing the same concerns we have as young people, joblessness,
Okay.
an array of issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Quite interesting that you've brought up this conversation in that line. And first things first, we've talked about how the youth should actually use different fronts to actually face the challenges, even as they keep on advocating for better maybe employment opportunities and so on. And when you talk about conversation, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has come up with what is called the intergenerational conclave. And this is where the youths are supposed to sit alongside other various stakeholders in the country and then converse and chat a way forward. What do you think about the intergenerational conclave, bearing that we have had various youth advocates who are against this intergenerational conclave? Actually, if you are to be part of it, what will you do to make it different?
Thank you so much, Kwach, for that question. I think, first of all, we must address statistics. Number one, the youth in Kenya, only 60% have, only 67% are jobless. And then again, we look at the literacy levels. Around 90% of young Kenyans, or rather between the age of 18 to 35, they are all literate. Hawa ni watu ambao wamesoma. They can be able to work somewhere. They can do white collar jobs, they can do technical jobs, all those. 90%. We are talking about 7 out of 10 people who are jobless, yet wamesoma. The current crisis we have in Kenya is that far too many people are educated, yet they have nothing to do with that education. So which beats the logic? Are we supposed to really advocate for education, even free education per se? Yet the people who are there have no transitional plan. If students graduate a certain number, where will they go after graduation? That is why we are telling the government, first of all, look for a solution to absorb these young graduates to get jobs. Now, that the joblessness is one of the key things that has made students to go on the streets. Now, if we introduce that aspect of intergenerational conclave, I would like to take you back, first of all. I've not just been a student leader. I've been a leader in political parties. I've served as Azimio, as a youth leader. Nationally, we were doing campaigns. I went to Jubilee as the National Youth League chairperson. I know how they address the concerns of young people. And I want, first of all, to appreciate and congratulate Honorable Raila Odinga, because the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, of bringing this kind of discussion. Intergenerational conclave is that you are bringing different generations. Young people, what they don't understand is that this intergenerational conclave will not accommodate only young people between the ages of 18 to 35. Whether I will be on that table, on that conclave or not, is neither here nor there, because personally I'm not even desperate for it, because I know these are people who will be handpicked. That is something I know. If they have some kind of tool of identifying real young people who are influential enough, who have real impact, then they will, that time I can say confidently I will find myself on that table. But then we are not going to lobby behind the scenes. Did you put me in this? Then again also, we are looking at the criteria on how they will identify these young people. We need to see the people who are on the streets, the people who are affected. We need to see representatives from the families who are affected, the young ones, they were lost in that struggle.
If you're there, if you're part of the conclave, what will be different? Because the youths have said that these conclaves, these conversations, we're talking too much. There's a lot of talking and there's little work. We've talked about, there's a lot of handshakes, there have been NADCO report, and there's a lot of conversation that we've had since 2010. Some of them have not come to fruition. So some of them are actually saying, why should we continue talking? Just do what you're supposed to be doing as the president.
Now, I will not rule out the fact that maybe I might be considered to be in that conclave because I represent a number of young people in the country.
Yes.
But later this week, I'll be having a press conference made up of some youth leaders
Yeah.
to see how we can be able to give a direction. And this is me telling you now a prescript of what we'll be telling the public. First of all, if we are to find ourselves in this intergenerational conclave, we will not accept it to be just a mere conclave. Because just like the way you are said, what will make it different from the NADCO report, all these kind of conversations that have been there without real results, people going there, getting attendance fee, you are paid to go to big hotels, to discuss things will not come to fruition. So in my opinion, what we need is an intergenerational contract, whereby it will be binding between generations.
Okay.
Not just this generation, it will be there to assist the other generation. There should be an intergenerational contract from an intergenerational conclave. That will ensure that it safeguards the rights, aspirations, and also the vision of young people who are still hopeless in this country. Remember, if it is a contract, it will have timelines. We will say this is the beginning of these discussions, the conclave, to maybe next year, let's say in April. These people will sit, will come up with a plan. This is the money which will be set aside.
So let me get you right. This should be a intergenerational contract.
Contract.
Between who and who?
Between now, that's intergenerational conclave, because conclave generally it means a consortium of different kind of people coming together, sitting down, they come up with decisions to address certain problems. But now, this one will be addressing the matters concerning youths, young people in Kenya.
So it will be a contract between the youth,
the young people and the government.
And the government?
Yes.
So by that...
Remember, people went to the streets because of the government, right?
So according to what you're saying, is that the government is majorly consisted of the old guards, which is true.
Majorly, yeah, right?
Which is true.
Statistically, not me saying.
Yes, statistically.
Right? Yeah.
It's true. So do we expect that going forward in 2027, the old guard still, which we have had so many revolutionary youth saying that it's the time to go home. So according to you, you believe that by 2027, we'll have a lot of them still being
They
in
will,
power.
because they're the ones with the money. Young people are desperate.
Okay.
Wewe sahi ukiambiwa usimame kiti ya president. Let's say you're approaching between around 27 thereabouts. Where will you get 500 million to start off the campaign? Sometimes we even say even 1 billion is not enough for a presidential campaign even to start. Now, if it's a young person, will not get that kind of money. Remember, the people who have money, they yield more money. And for young people to get money, they have to be empowered. They're empowered through what? Jobs. They're empowered through startups, those kind of things. So, in my opinion, the same problem we had in 2022 will still recur in 2027 because young people they're still in that quagmire of depression. They're still in desperation because there's no transition. There's no real transition.
And this actually makes me to ask you, do you believe that the younger people, the younger generation, the youth, can make better leaders compared to the older generations?
Now, when I say that 90% of youths in Kenya, they are educated.
Yeah.
If we compare with the 1990s, you look up statistically, even online, you'll see that in the 1990s, there were only 40% literacy levels, which means there is an increment between 40 and 90 is 50, right? Over 50% of young people are now educated. Kitambo, ulikuwa unasoma hata na boom. Ukifika O levels, you are booked by a certain company for jobs. If there was no even kind of attachment. So ulikuwa unapata kazi hata ukuwa in campus. You're already working for a certain firm or in government. Nowadays, unapata unakuwa valedictorian. In the University of Nairobi there, I've witnessed a number of valedictorians ever since I graduated in 2018 with architectural studies.
Yes.
2019, I mean. From that time, you find a valedictorian person. That is the best university produced by that institution. Working in a farm, in a company, as an intern. Hiyo kumaanisha that is not a permanent job. You are still relying on stipends, on pittance. I mean, at the discretion of maybe human resource.
So you believe that the younger generation can actually make better leadership?
They can. They have that
compared
potential.
To the old.
Young people use a lot of potential in this country.
But
ingekuwa if it were me,
yes,
mtu kama wewe sasa ungekuwa governor, you would do much better job than some of these old guns. We are not really trying to disrespect, but it comes with energy. It comes with passion.
Thank you for the compliment. And this actually make me even to ask you that now that we've talked about valedictorians being interns and so on and so forth, and the youth could probably make better leaders. But you've also said that the people that have the money for the campaigns and the political visibility and everything are the older guards. And we are saying that the people with the bad political manners are the old guards. How will it be possible now for the young, for the youth, who are interns of the political old guards? Because some of them actually, most of the youth have gotten visibility through aligning with various political leaders. And I believe that you've aligned yourself as well. There are people you look up to who maybe could be your political godfathers. Maybe we'll get to know about that. So does it then mean that when you get a power or a position, you cannot be able to lead independently? Because the people that are holding your hands are those with the political bad manners. Are we going to see a point where we're going to have that sanity going forward? Because these are people, young people, are interning from the from the old guards.
Well, when you talk about someone being a godfather,
yeah,
I believe myself, God is the father.
Okay.
But I've witnessed the narrative that you have spoken of,
yeah,
which the likes of Babu Owino, who has been in ODM,
yeah,
the likes of Sifuna, who has been Secretary General for ODM,
yeah,
the likes of Mukunji, the likes of Caleb Omisi, all these leaders, they are quote unquote,
yeah,
they are alleged to be against the principles of their forefathers, or rather the real owners of those political parties. And sometimes they make defiant kind of observations on how things should be run within the party or without. And sometimes that is seen to be some kind of defiance of the political leaders and so forth. But looking at Africa, even the entire world, we can learn a few things. We can learn from, it's not a very good example, but if we learn internationally, you look at Mussolini, where he came from. In Africa here, just look at Jasper Kwame. He's from Ghana. He was a leader who defied the old guard. Museveni here, our neighbor, he defied his seniors. That's how he became president. So in my opinion, really, revolutionaries do not really necessitate or equate to open defiance. Sometimes these are young people having independence of mind. And then again, what is the level at which a young person should reach for them to be seen independent enough to lead? So I think sometimes unaweza sema huyu ni kiongozi wangu, anakushikilia for too long. Then you become at the age of 60 bando wewe anakuita kijana. Mtu hawezi kuita kijana forever. Wewe umezeeka. Hawa watu wenye unasema ni youthful, ati wamedefy their political leaders. How old are they? If you look at their ages, most of them are over 40 years. Huyo ni mtoto kweli? Ako kwa youth age gap. So in my opinion, if these youth leaders wame lead the organization very well,
yeah,
and they have achieved, now wamefika their prime political situation, let them have wings. Let them contest for whatever they want. Let them have their ideas, their ideologies. If they want to form their own political party, fine. And actually that is where the young people miss. That is why actually even the intergenerational conclave, I commend it so much, is because young people walienda kwa streets, wengi wakakufa. Do they have a plan? After kufanya maandamano, then what next? So if there was no contract, there is nothing which was written that you have shed this blood. This is how we are going to assist you. So in my opinion, the youth will lose. They need a vehicle. But then again, will you trust the driver? For you to trust the driver, lazima kuwe na receipt. Unajishikia receipt yako, imeandikwa ndio. Tumeanzia hii discussion leo, itaisha kesho. What are the bylaws? Tunazitanga aje? TOR, terms of reference of those agreements. Then munaekelewa pesa, munaanzia maneno. Kwanza kabisa, munaanza na compensation of those we have lost. You call their families, you do a decent kind of burial, even if it's quote unquote, something to send them off for their hearts to rest. You know, we are all human. Our president should heed to the voices of young people. Kwanza kabisa wanyamazishwe. And then they be given real spaces. Wakuwe integrated in political parties. Because I believe, hata tukienda kwa streets as young people, far too many times, even if it means Mondays every time, like the way we used to do with Raila when I was chairperson of MDD, Movement for the Defense of Democracy. Hata tukifanya maandamano daily, na government haitaki kusikiza, definitely the young person will lose and many people will die and they won't care. So in my opinion, come up with something substantial, let it have terms of reference, like a contract, timelines, and then we achieve something. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. You've expounded quite well, but let me ask you. You've talked about God the Father, but you're an ardent supporter of the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, isn't it?
True.
So can we say he's your political godfather?
No, like I said, if I have to repeat to you again, God the Father is my godfather.
Okay. Quite interesting. But now let me ask you, see, you're a KUSO president. You are the leader of Kenya University Students Association organization, I mean. And this organization is for students, which majorly are Gen Zs who have been on the streets. The Gen Z revolution happened on 25th June 2024. Then Kithure Kindiki was the CS for Interior. And somehow your ideology and his marries. But someone will ask and pose a question that how do you marry now the fact that is because his background, someone could look at him and say that he has a background marred with violence, actually a symbol of state violence, if you can say, because of what happened during his watch as the CS of Interior. How do you marry and tell someone that you'd want to work with such a person, yet such a person meted violence in the people that you represent?
First of all, answer that question in 3 ways.
Yes.
Point number one, I will come back to the roots where I come from. I remember, a river doesn't forget its source.
Yes.
Where I come from, and you know east or west, home is
Always the best.
So in my opinion, the way we have been divided in this country, whether we like it or not, we say we don't like ethnicity or what, there's still tribalism. There's where you come from, that's why Ataitas identify as Taita. That's why Luos can never speak Kimeru like myself. It's because we come from certain specific regions. Where I come from Meru. The whole Meru region, we call it Mount Kenya East because it's merged between Meru and Tharaka Nithi and Embu. This is the leader who achieved no mean feat. He became the deputy president of Kenya. Whether he served as a bad CS Interior, whether he served as a good CS Interior, he made it to that top. I will not really say he did a bad job when he was CS Interior. After all, the position of a cabinet secretary for Interior is not a position where you decide everything for yourself. You are under instructions. You have a boss you report to. You have a whole system. There is a cabinet that approves what you are supposed to do or not, even with budgets and whatnot. When he was CS Interior, I can say confidently, actually, he achieved a lot. The only thing is that Gen Zs striked when they were not prepared. And I believe the people who made bad decisions regarding that, they were people under him. That is the Inspector General of Police who was fired. A number of people were fired. But according to him, as you saw, even when demonstrations were happening, he was deep in Shakahola there trying to help people.
What is the work of the CS?
The cabinet secretary.
Yes.
Of course, he oversees what bodies below you. But as you can see what Justin Muturi said, in this government, sometimes there are people who have positions, but they are shell positions. Because you may realize that the director of criminal investigations doesn't receive orders from some of his superiors. So it is really an interplay of a plethora of complications.
So Anthony, we can describe you as a political insider as we speak.
So first of all, I didn't even tell you the second reason.
Okay.
The second reason as to why I believe...
I'll come to that second reason.
Okay.
We can describe you now as a political insider.
Insider of?
Political insider, because you've said that with the Meru, we support Kithure Kindiki because what he has achieved is a no mean feat, actually.
I was actually finalizing on that. It's not just because where he comes from, where he comes from.
Yes.
I believe, first of all, okay, there is that. First of all, he achieved no mean feat by becoming the deputy president. Number two, I believe that as Mount Kenya, I believe we have a chance of also, by matrix, trying to improve the situation of livelihoods economically of that region. And not just that region. In fact, you can see the kind of empowerment programs he is doing. He's not doing just in Mount Kenya. And then again, we have a professional who is in that position. He's a law professor. So we have someone, a complete contrast of what we had before, just a mere DC, district commissioner. So in my opinion, right now, we have someone who knows exactly what he is doing for Kenyans.
Quite interesting. That is the second one. The third one?
And then the third one, as you can see, the way the deputy president, Kithure Kindiki, is supporting the president, you can see there's a lot of development happening in Kenya. We may not share the kind of political ideology with President Ruto. In fact, very many young people across the board, not just young people, very many people are against his leadership. But for Kithure Kindiki has been focused on work throughout, inspecting work here and there. Whether we have a bad president or a good president, there should be work done for the people of Kenya, because this is not a favor. This is something which was enshrined and included in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto.
Okay, quite interesting, Mr. Anthony. I think what you've said there could be a lot of questions coming from the people that actually you represent, asking you why you'd say that the Gen Z, why you'd fault the Gen Z to some extent. But again, on the issue of the campus students, or rather the issue of the youth that you also happen to represent, there is an issue of health, and there is a new vaccine that has been introduced on HIV that probably should be rolled out in 2026 January, if not wrong. And I'm asking this because the youth, for the longest time, have been most adversely affected by this menace of HIV and AIDS. And we understand what HIV and AIDS has done to our development as a people. How do you think this will be a game changer, or what generally do you make of this new development on health?
First of all, that has been a very thorny question for very many generations.
Yeah.
The issue of HIV, it's very unfortunate that very many young people have lost their lives through infections. And many have seen me advocate even on televisions and a lot of broadcasting. Me trying to explain the efforts we are making to assist young people thrive in preventive measures to see how they can be able to prevent themselves from certain diseases, especially HIV, AIDS. And severally, young people have seen me advocate to have condoms tripled in institutions, sometimes even made in excess, so that if in 1 week you are doing that act, let's say 3 times, you can have a whole pocket, maybe like 5 pockets, so that you don't have to rudia and rudia again. You use one per encounter. If it busts, you use another one, like that, repetitively. So in my opinion, I think our focus is to ensure young people are protected from these certain diseases. But then we have seen the Ministry of Health. They have rolled up an initiative in which there will be vaccines to prevent. It is a very big step when it comes to health in our country. And when I say this is because I know comrades in our universities. Most of them opt to do it in an unprotected manner. And this is something we have done statistically. We have held questionnaires, and we have seen many do unprotected sex, which is very unhealthy. So it will come at a time when it's highly needed, because we'll save a lot of lives. So in my opinion, what we are telling the government, should this be rolled out? Because young people cannot afford 6,000 shillings. What we want and what we'll advocate for onset and going forward is that we advocate the vaccines to be offered in all public institutions, private institutions for free, so that students can be able to afford. Remember, this vaccine, it's being given between, I think, around 6 months. 6 months. Now, why is it that it's being given timelines? I mean, it's specifying that it's only 6 months that the vaccine will work. Remember, polio, it's there for a whole of a lifetime. I believe if a vaccine can be given for 6 months, there exists somewhere whereby that vaccine is timeless. So in my opinion, the government must do two things. First of all, they bring the real vaccine. We don't know where they will get them. Number two, the vaccine should be free for all young people to access. Because these are the young people who cannot even pay for KRI clearance. They cannot pay for clearance at, what do you call that body for clearing people? Money you have.
HELB.
Madeni. No, there is a CRB. We call it CRB. CRB. So all these bodies, they ask young people for some kind of fee for you to access some kind of certificate.
Okay.
What we need is young people not to pay anything. Because first of all, there are no jobs, like we said. So yeah, that is our stand.
Wow. Quite much interesting. I hope that comes to fruition. But again, let me also ask you, because I understand that you have a perception about the leadership of this country. And my question was, because you've talked about you have a different ideology, and so many people actually do not buy into the ideology of the President, William Samoei Ruto. You have an opportunity to join the United Opposition and work alongside them because maybe they have an ideology that you can buy into, and they've actually totally denied and refused some of these things that the President is doing about taxes, taxation, about police brutality, status of the economy and unemployment, joblessness that has affected the youth. Don't you think that maybe you should work with Kalonzo Musyoka and the other United Opposition figures, and maybe to prepare for maybe a better government, if you don't believe
First
in
of all, you know,
ideology?
I contested for Senate in 2022.
Yes.
Before Baba came to me, he approached me and he told me he wants to include me in his youth team, national youth team. What I can tell you, when campaigning on ground, you need resources. That is what many young people do not know. You need resources.
Okay.
So me joining the opposition, definitely, I will be joining other desperate people who do not have anything to do nothing. The opposition that is there, first of all, you need candidates you can believe in. Number two, I'm not also a sycophant of the government.
Okay.
I work according to my principles. I represent a very unique group of people in Kenya. University students are barometers of wisdom and catheters of knowledge. These are people who are knowledgeable enough to know right or wrong.
Yes.
Like I said, 90% of young people in Kenya are literate.
Okay.
I am their leader. I should reflect their thoughts, aspirations, and vision.
Okay.
What I think in 2027 as we approach, we may, personally, that is my personal opinion, I may not rush make political siding, siding with this political party and that one. What I want is for young people to benefit from already the government that is in existence. I have lobbied for affordable housing in the universities. I was there when the contract was being signed in State House. We want students to have accommodation in all institutions, which should be basically free to access. Remember, University of Nairobi, they demonstrated the other day. What they're demonstrating? Accommodation. They were subjected to paying for between that 80,000 to 42,000 per year.
Okay.
Na nika space kandogo kanaka kama choo. I'm an architect by profession, so I know these metrics. The students cannot thrive there and pay that kind of money. It is insane. So they reviewed and saying that they will reduce to around 16,500 to 20,500, which to me still remains very high. When I was president, University of Nairobi Student Association, SONU, students were paying 6,000 shillings. That was high. And remember, even students were not able to afford that 6,000. So in my opinion, that is one of the key things that I achieved. I was able to convince the current establishment to incorporate in this bigger housing agenda to come up with affordable students accommodation, institutional accommodation, that's how we call it. Number 2, look at the SHA. We are still in talks. We want to see how students can be able to be exempted on the money that is being paid and so forth, so that students can access that. Number 3, come to education. Right now they are reviewing everything when it comes to school fees. That is what we want to target. We don't want you remain fighting. Manyara is categorized as an opposition figure. Remember when I was chairperson of Movement for the Defense of Democracy? We were all over in the streets doing all these things. The government could not do nothing. When I stand there and do a press conference saying this is what we want democracy, blah, blah. Tukipiga HELB the following day, nilikuwa nashikwa, pale Central Police Station, naambiwa mashtaki yako ni treason. Unaambiwa sijui umefanya hivi, you are against the government, sijui. So, whether we like it or not, hata opposition wamesema, they have united and saying that the president is one term. If they have said is one term, sasa hiyo term yenye imebaki between 2 years, tutanyamaza wanafunzi walale njaa, wainame for no reason and I'm their chairperson. Si afadhali nitulie hivi, nikipanga mikakati yangu, nikisoma rada kukoaje, ikifika 2026 hapo, tuanze hapo katikati, then we decide which way. But for now, students have to adequately benefit because they deserve, because it's their right, it's in the Constitution. If you read Article 43 of the Constitution, which offers quality and affordable education for all. Housing inafaa kuwa hivyo. I think accommodation, housing, education nimetaja. Nini ingine inasubuanga wanafunzi sana? Mambo ya HELB, sahi as we speak. I think, and I should use your platform, I think you will ask me about HELB so that I also address that concern.
And the funding model. Actually, you can talk about it. You can talk about HELB and the funding model, because these are some of the critical issues that actually have affected the youth so much. Asking, we are not getting help, and we are not also, the funding model is quite much not understandable. Yeah, so
first of all, I'll address matters concerning HELB. I believe students have starved for far too long. You know, we normally say that you cannot pickpocket a naked man. Students are really suffering. We are talking about students frying rats, students hunting birds, and sometimes wanainama. You know, very many Kenyans don't understand that term.
They fry
Kuinama, yeah, they fry buns. They hunt buns from huko. Ukishika kama mbili moja unafunikia kwa bed, unaweka kwa box, unangoja unafurahi asubuhi, unakunywa nayo sturungi. So it is a very unfortunate event. And in my opinion, sometimes you can suppress someone for far too long, and it becomes to some levels in which they cannot contain any further. Remember, you cannot stop diarrhea by stitching the anus. You must come up with solutions. And HELB has been a thorny issue. As we speak, very many students have been at verified stage. Kuna ile poto HELB poto. Hata mimi mwenyewe naendanga nikiangalia what is happening. Kuna wenye kwa verified stage. Kuna wenye wako wameandikiwa disbursement in progress. All these students are very desperately, wamepewa hope that pesa itatoka. Mpaka sahi, over 4 months, over 6 months, it's varying. Very many students have not yet received that help. We have a new CEO for HELB. It's called Geoffrey Monari. We have spoken to him severally. We have told him, immediately money is released by Treasury, and it is narrowed down through Ministry of Education. It comes to HELB. Let them release immediately without discriminating. Sometimes they use a tactical move, which was used by that Chinese general, Sun Tzu. Alikuwa anasema ya kwamba it's a divide and rule tactic, whereby you pay some, others you live without. So kuna wenye wanapiga kelele, na kuna wengine bando wamelipwa. So even if you are doing some kind of demonstration online, or you're mobilizing yourselves to oppose that move, you know, there are people already wenye wakona pesa kumfuko. So in my opinion, all we are asking is that the government should take serious the matter of education. They should fund adequately. Pesa ya HELB isikuwe inaguzwa, because you are assisting vulnerable, needy and deserving students. The students also who are in private institutions also should be paid. Students also from TVET institutions. Remember, these are the technical experts we have, plumbers, artisans, all these people, they come from technical institutions. They should be paid also in time. Okay. When I was president University of Nairobi, I increased HELB of TVET institutions from merely 25,000 to 35,000. Okay. When I was CUSO president, I increased from 35,000 to 42,000. For public institutions and public institutions, I increased from that 5,000 to 42,000. All of them are being paid decent money. All we want, verified stage inatoka unakuwa paid. Okay. Disbursement in progress inafaa kuwa transformed to paid.
Okay. Quite interesting. Thank you so much. I think that's been our time. We've come to the end of this conversation. But because you're also the founder and chairman of the Youth Advocacy Africa, maybe you could tell us what you do to this extent with in this regard, being the founder of Youth Advocacy Africa, even as you give your parting shot to this show.
I would like to say in 2018, when I was president University of Nairobi, I thought of something meaningful on how, remember as an architectural student, what made me do architecture? I studied very well. I saw there is a lot of poverty levels. And the best way you can give a decent person a decent living is for you to come up with a low-cost housing kind of a setting in which you can help people get somewhere to live. Because one of the basic rights is access to shelter. So in my opinion, when I did architecture, when I was University of Nairobi, I realized students are facing a lot of problems. And I founded an NGO, an ungovernmental organization called Youth Advocacy Africa. Yeah. Even as you look at our website, it's www.yaafrica.org. So this organization deals with education. We want to see how we can offer students scholarships. Sometimes umeisikia rumors ya kwamba kuna scholarships zinapeanwa but zinapeanwa na kujuana, some kind of bias. So we want to offer something which is long-term, which is, of course, sustainable. And then we are not dealing also with scholarships. We are dealing with an area of issues under education. And then there is governance. We are going to have a talk in the University of Nairobi, which will be like TED Talk, Afrovox forums, which will be able to mentor young people also to do well in life. And then economic empowerment, we are going to deal with environment issues with climate action, climate justice, carbon credits, carbon footprint, all those kind of things. And then finally we are going to deal with well-being, mambo ya mental health, mambo ya, depression, those things that are affecting young people. These are kind of solutions we want to come up with through this non-governmental organization.
Wow, quite interesting. Parting shot?
Parting shot, mimi nataka tukuambia vijana, as we go forward, they be careful. First of all, they know that for you to get real power in any government is through political parties. If you align yourself very well with a political party, you gain. If you don't, then you will repeat the same kind of problems that were there before. I know very well you are hosting a powerful youth leader called Ken Babu. He'll tell you also he's a part of one of the organizations. And will tell you also about the National Youth Council. So, in my opinion, youth people need to mainstream and structure themselves to organized groups, to organized organizations like political parties. Because political parties form a government. Political parties that do not form a government become opposition. The moment that you are not in those two, then you are called anarchists. You are people who are directionless. So young people who have a lot of potential, what we need is to see how the government can address the concerns of young people. If there will be an intergenerational conclave, which I feel it will still be manipulated to become. If it becomes, then young people should understand. The conversation should not be about a conclave. People can meet anytime. Mikutano inafanyika kila siku. What we need is a contract. Young people sign. There is money released. The government oversees. Also, we have partners. Those international partners, they can come from the church. They can come from youth groups. They can come from National Youth Council. They can come from activists. They can come from youth leaders. They can come from NGOs. All these people brought together, a consortium of people who want a better Kenya. Then the area of discussion should be purely about young people. Watu walikufa juu ya nini? Walipigania nini? Can we identify these problems? Can we come up with solutions? Hizi solutions zifanyike kabla ya Ruto amalize term yake ya kwanza.
Okay.
By the time 2027 ikifika,
Yeah.
then there is a framework on how these young people should be assisted.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you
That
so
has
much,
been
Coach.
Anthony Manyara, the KUSO president, and of course also the youth advocacy, Africa
Yeah.
Founder.
That is not local. It's an international NGO.
International.
So hii si ile yenye watu wanaweza cheza nayo.
But it's Pan-African. Yeah.
Yes.
Very much interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to our show.
Yes.
My name is Eugene Kwach, and this is the Power Table. The Power Table is where we get to sit with thought leaders, politicians, economists, all those leaders, and we bring to you understanding through their lenses. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful conversation with Anthony Manyara. Until next time, my name is Eugene Kwach.